So I just got back. Well, not just got back. I just left RB Adrenaline's factory. Got the exhaust welded on. I totally forgot to make a recording of what it looks like now, but I'll show you guys a video. I'll crawl under there real quick because I still need to replace the gaskets for my Y pipe. They're not leaking right now, but I have the better Z1 gaskets. Well, actually, I might not even do that anymore, but I'll get to that. The gaskets right now on my Y pipe aren't leaking, but they were the original ones from my other exhaust, and I just reused them. So eventually I'm gonna, you know, replace those. So when I crawl under there, yeah, fuck it. I'll just crawl under there real quick, and I'll show you guys the welded part of what it looks like now, or I'll just drive over to my GoPro. But exhaust is welded. It sounds amazing. I am so happy. It sounds so good how it should be. So here's the issue I had with the ISR exhaust. So when I originally installed it, the bolts were just as tight as I could possibly, you know, get them. But towards the bottom of the flange, there was still a gap. And I couldn't get the gap to close, and even with the gasket, it wouldn't fill it up. With the ones ISR provided, or with the ones that Z1 provided, I just couldn't get that gap filled up. So I was like, screw it, you know, we'll get it welded. Well, I took it, you know, to the shop, and they tried to sand the flanges flat. And since the flanges were thick enough, you know, we tried sanding it, and sanding it didn't work either. They reinstalled it, and the gasket just couldn't fill in that gap. There was still the gap at the end, and it was still leaking actually pretty bad. So then that's when we pulled it apart, and that's when they welded it all together, and now it sounds amazing. But that also brings up Z1 gaskets, kind of an issue with them because they weren't thick enough to fill in that gap. So if you guys have an exhaust leak and the gap is pretty big, I wouldn't recommend Z1 gaskets because they're already it's already like a machined metal. They can't compress anymore to what they already are, not like a regular gasket where when you tighten it, it compresses. The Z1s don't. So if you have a big enough gap, the Z1 gasket it's not going to work because it didn't work for me. It didn't fill in that gap that needed to be filled. So I would recommend the Z1 gaskets if, you know, your old ones blew out, the gap's not that big to fill in. 100% recommend them because you can reuse them and stuff, and make sure you use the copper RTV gasket sealer stuff on them. But if the gap's pretty big, don't even bother. Just get regular gaskets, double them up or something, because we filled in, or they welded in my Motordyne resonator to an 8-inch piece, an 8 or 9-inch piece of just straight stainless steel to the ISR exhaust. But on the most rear gasket for the muffler, it's just the most slightest of slightest leaks still. So I'm gonna go back into that one, get the copper RTV gasket sealer, double up the gasket on that rear one, and then it'll be 100% perfect. But as of right now, sounds perfect, amazing. You don't even notice that rear leak. You can't like really hear it. So right now it pretty much sounds like, you know, how it's going to sound. And I'll tease you guys a little with an exhaust clip, but I'll upload its own exhaust video this weekend. Back home now. Fitment on the exhaust is a little better. They kind of messed around with that, bent the hangers a bit just so it wouldn't touch my bumper or my diffuser, even though I'm cutting all this out probably tomorrow anyways. But it doesn't hit anymore. I'm gonna try and get under there, old exhaust, to show you guys the welded parts. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see. Yeah, I don't think you guys could see any of that, but it's just all welded. So, I guess that's the end for that video. I'm not gonna record any exhaust clips because, like I said, I still need to fix that one leak. However, with this ISR exhaust, doing a little more research on it, I wouldn't say they're known to have that flange issue that I had, because I talked to a couple other people that got the exhaust at the same time that I did, and they didn't have an issue like I had. So I don't know if it was just me. I just got lucky out of the bunch. However, talking to the shop that welded this exhaust, he said that he has never had an ISR exhaust that didn't leak. So you know, it's 258 bucks, still a straight 3-inch great sounding exhaust. I still think it's worth it. So once I fix that rear gasket, I'm gonna double it up. I'll give you guys some clips. So I'll see you in that video. Deuces.